Okay, my question is, you get home and James is kind of being weird and, grabs you by the arm and you see him get his brains blown out and you go downstairs and go to sleep.
It sounds bad. I know it sounds bad, but if you take into consideration that I was up for like 72 hours and like now I just seen this guy's brains get blown out and like they go on to me, and then I'm just like in shock, and then I just like, and then I just pass out. It's not like I went to sleep. It's like.
This is a psychological interrogation, where Melody Dixon's statements reveal more than just words. The focus here isn't only on what is being said, but how it's being said.
Yes, sir. Melody, I'm Anthony Pearson. I'm the prosecutor who indicted you for the charges and who is handling this case forward against you and Michael. This is your attorney, is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Gleason, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And we have Lieutenant Robinson, I can't remember your name.
Detective Joe here.
And
Detective Tallman.
okay. And Melody, I've spoken with your defense attorney a couple of times about this case, and your willingness to talk to us about the situation regarding James Whitaker. Do you know James Whitaker?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be asking you some questions and ask you to tell me about the situation surrounding his death, okay? But before I have you talk about that, this is the concept that is most important. It's that you tell the truth, okay? That's the most important, and I cannot stress to you how important that is. 2 reasons. The first reason is we want to know what really happened and what you know, okay? That's important for us to know. We don't want to be on wild goose chases. We don't want to be prosecuting people who shouldn't be prosecuted. And we want to prosecute the people who actually committed the crimes, okay? So we want to know the scope of everything. These guys have been working day and night, busting their asses trying to figure out all of the pieces to this puzzle, okay? And as you know, there are a lot of pieces. But they know a lot of information about this case, probably more than what you think they know. They know a lot because they've lived it for quite some time now. The second reason why it is important for you to tell the truth and not lie to me today is that the more you lie, the less valuable you become to me. Because the entire conversation that you tell has to be turned over to the defense attorney, okay? Of Michael and whomever. So in the event that you lie to me today, I can't put you on the stand as a witness because they will just say, well, she lied. So how can you believe her? And what usually happens, I've been doing this for quite some time, what sometimes happens is I get a guy, a gangbanger, or someone who knows something about some crimes, and they get up there and they try and tell me some lies about what happened to either diminish their own responsibility or their friend's responsibility or their parents' responsibility, and they kind of tamp it down and think that they can lie to me. But each one of those lies, they become less valuable because I can't use them then. You know, does that make sense? And if you want to get a deal out of this, you're going to have to tell me the truth. I can't be catching you in lies. Because after a certain point in time of you lying to me, I'm going to pack up my stuff. You're not going to get any deal. And I'm just going to drive back to Columbus. Because I can't put a liar on the stand. Does that make sense? If at any point in time I'm asking you questions, and you want to talk it over with your attorney, just let me know. That's completely fine. We'll walk out of the room, we'll turn the recorder off, and you can talk to them about whatever, all right? But please do that before you lie to me, okay? Because I would like to use you if we can, but if not, if you lie to me, there's nothing I can do. You just become not valuable to me, okay? Okay. Any questions at all? So, I'm gonna have you just tell the story. Who is James Whitaker to you? How do you know this man? Where did you know him from? How did he come into your life? What happened?
Me and my ex-fiance went to go visit my dad, and my dad texted me the address, or I called grandma and she told me where dad was living, and I went to the house, and dad said he was living with his man for over 2 years, and that's the first time I met him. And
When was this? What year? Was this last year? Years ago? When was it?
last year in the end of April, no, March or April.
March of April of 2020 or 2019?
2020, because this year, yeah, because I graduated like a month after that.
Okay. So you believe you first met James April of 2020?
Probably in March.
Okay. April or end of March of 2020. Okay. Lieutenant, feel free to jump in. Anyone, feel free to jump in if you need to or want to. All right. So you were with your fiance, is that right?
Yes.
Who was your fiance at the time?
Austin Rose.
Austin.
Rose.
Okay.
Rose or Rose?
Rose, like flower.
Okay, Rose.
Where is he now?
Pomeroy?
Pomeroy?
Mhm.
Do you guys still talk?
No.
All right. So talk to me about that.
But today I met him.
Yeah.
Well, we basically just went inside, I went inside first because Austin and Dad really didn't get along, so I went inside and we were talking for a bit, and Dad introduced me to James. Said we've been living together for like 2 years, and I said, well, let me go outside and get Austin, because he was sitting in the car and it was nighttime. I was like, I don't know what time it was, but it was getting dark, so I went out and got him. We went in the house, and we had weed with us, so we asked if they wanted to smoke, so we smoked for a little bit, and then we got even later, and Austin had to work the next day, so Austin said we had to leave, so we left that day.
Okay. How old are you now, Melody?
19.
When's your birthday?
August 17th.
All right, let's fast forward a bit. Did you end up living with your dad and James? How'd that come about?
I went to go visit my dad one day when Austin stayed home, because it's a long trip from where we lived to Dad, so he wanted to stay home and work on some stuff. And I went there and I asked Dad if he could get anything, and he said yes. And I was like, I wanted to leave Austin because he said he didn't want to marry a Gilhead. So I was like, well, if I could live with Dad and do all this and not really having anything to like take care of and stuff, and that's better, I guess. Lots of time, so I drove home the next day and he said, hey babe, and I was like, hey, and you just knew from what I said at that, it was like over, so. And then I moved in with them, they came down and hooked.
Mm-hmm.
And my shit.
Where were you living before?
With Austin?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact address, but it's like right outside of Pomeroy at Long Bottom.
Now you said, were you using drugs at the time? You said Austin said he didn't want to be with the pill head.
Well, I just started getting back into it like last month that we were together.
Okay. What were you taking at that time? What were you using?
Just, I don't really know, I just got what people would give me.
Okay. Were you using meth?
No, not at that time, no.
Were you smoking crack and cocaine?
Just pills and weed.
Okay. So oxys and that sort of thing?
I never done oxygen. There's like opioids and stuff. Like,
Vicodin or
yeah.
hydrocodone?
Yeah. And so you moved in with, do you remember what time, what month that was that you moved in with James and your dad?
It was like a couple weeks before graduation.
Okay.
Like, in the middle of April maybe? Maybe towards the end.
That would have been 2019.
I thought it was 2021.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't. That's good. If you think I'm wrong on something, certainly correct me.
As the interrogation progresses, inconsistencies and confusion begin to surface in Melody Dixon's responses. This is often the stage where a person shifts from explaining events to psychologically protecting themselves.
Okay. Oh, okay, right. So that was just a couple of weeks after you had first met James, right? So you end up coming back to that place and moving in. Did you and James get along or not?
At first we did, but like he talked too much. Like he was lonely and craving for attention kind of way. And him and Dad and like they were like okay, but they got in arguments a lot. So,
About what?
like petty things. Dad not doing like she was bossed out around a lot. Like he was his bitch, as you just said.
James bossed your dad around?
Yeah.
Okay. So your dad was James's bitch? Is that what you were saying? Okay. And again, I thought that's what you said, so those aren't my words. If you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, okay? But that's kind of how you felt about it? Okay. Did they ever get into any fights?
Well, not physically or anything. Like they just yelled at each other and screamed and stuff.
What about threats?
There was a lot of times where James had a couple guns or whatever house, and like Dad would take money and stuff sometimes, or whenever we went up to Lancaster to get pain pills off his mom. Dad would like take a couple of them, and I think that's why he would say that he was going to kill Dad and do him a favor, like and stuff. And there was one time I got, kind of angry about that, and I said, threaten my family one more time, and like, you know what I'm saying? And I went downstairs and well, I had a bow, and I was like real fucked up on meth, and that turns me into a different person. I mean, that's no excuse, but I'm just like letting you know, like I'm a different person whenever I do meth, and I get violent. And I went downstairs and I got my bow and I was like, don't threaten to kill someone, and especially my family. And I was like going off, and of course Dad gets in the middle and he's like, Melody, you don't want to do this. You don't know how it's like to end someone's life. So I threw my bow down and I went outside. Because I always left the house a lot to go over to Kenny's or something to get stuff and just to get away from James. So, because I mean, at first he was okay, but then he started saying that he wanted a relationship with me and everything, and I'm just like, and I told him, I was like, there's this guy in prison. His name's James Ashmore, and he reminded me a lot of this person, and I told him so.
Okay. There's a James Ashmore. What's the guy's name in prison?
James Ashmore.
Okay. He reminds you of James Whitaker?
James Whitaker reminds me of James Ashmore. Just like,
Okay.
Why?
I mean, it's gonna sound weird, but like, they kind of look alike, and they're born in the same year. And whenever I was like high, certain times, like James Whitaker would like do certain things, and then I told him like, you remind me of, okay, like James Ashmore's in prison for like raping me, so I told him like, you remind me of the person that raped me, and he got all mad about it. And it's like, I can't believe you said that, like you have no heart, and I'm like, well, it's true. And then he started like blowing up my phone like all the time whenever I wasn't home. And it's like obsessive and weird.
Whitaker would do this?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a sexual relationship with James Whitaker?
No.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever kiss?
No.
Not even a kiss.
There's a couple times where Dad had to help me out in the bathroom because I couldn't move. And he like came up behind me and I freaked out, and I was like, why did you do that, Dad? And he was like, and James told me later that they agreed behind my back, which kind of pissed me off, that they were going to have a threesome with me, and I was like, that really pissed me off, but I didn't want that.
Your dad arranged it?
Well, I guess they both did. But I told him, no, I ain't fucking doing that because...
Now this is when you were on drugs or were you not?
I mean, the entire time I lived there, I was on drugs.
What were you taking when you were there? What drugs were you on?
Meth and all the different pills like perks and Valiums and bikes and a couple other different kinds of painkillers. And meth was the main one, but
Throughout this interrogation, sleep deprivation, substance use, and extreme mental stress repeatedly come into play. Under these conditions, a person can lose control over memory, time perception, and emotional responses, making this exchange psychologically significant.
All right. Again, Melody, I want you to remember the importance it is to tell the truth, okay? I'd rather you tell me you don't want to talk about that than you lie, okay? I'm sorry?
do you think I'm lying?
Possibly.
No, your body language completely changed when I asked
Possibly.
you that. Okay. So just tell the truth.
We understand it's very difficult.
I don't think you understand.
We understand it's difficult. I don't understand what you went through. But I understand talking about it would probably be very difficult.
Yeah.
But I do not understand what you went through.
There's Melody, a lot of things that you're gonna tell us, we already know. Okay.
Let's pick back up. Michael said that he and James wanted to have a threesome with you, right?
Yes.
Did that ever happen?
No.
Um, how long had you had a sexual relationship with Michael?
The first thing that happened was when I got taken out of mom's custody and put in grandma's custody back in 2017. I was 16, and I think that's the first time I tried meth. And Bubby was in the trailer with us.
Who's that?
My brother, Michael.
Okay. So you're 16 and had used meth, is that right?
Yeah.
Where did you get the meth from?
Dad.
How many times did that happen?
The meth using or?
The sex with Michael.
And when I was 16, like, between 4 and 6 times. I was there from like, I don't know. I was only at grandma's for like 2 months.
So between 4 and 6 times. Were you on meth every single time? Or no?
No, he would like mix these 2 pills together, a yellow one and a orange one, and like I would like wake up hours later and not no shit. But
Do you know what kind of pills they were?
you know, I just know what they look like. I mean, at that time, I really didn't care for, like, I didn't care what it was as long as, because I was going through a difficult time at that time. So I was like, wanting to take whatever, so I was like, I didn't really care about what I took, so. So he just didn't really tell me.
And how many times after that did it happen when you weren't at your grandmother's? Like, did that start to happen when you started to live with him and James?
Yeah.
About how many times?
I don't know more than I can count. Like, so it's gonna sound like kind of messed up, but I'm just gonna, say it. So like, so like, for like years of my life, whenever you try to say no, and then like men are on top of you and you can't push them off, and then whenever I would tell my dad no, he would stop and he would respect that. So that's why I thought it was. That's why I thought it was okay, because he would always stop when I said no.
You realize it wasn't okay? You know that now? You also realize it wasn't your fault? Because it wasn't, okay? It was not okay. It wasn't your fault. He's a grown ass man and should know better. Let's fast forward to when James was killed, okay? Talk to me about how that day went.
We were at Kenny's most of the day. And I was working on some kind of building that Kenny was working in the garage or something. And we didn't get home till around 4 a.m. Because, well, we always stay up that late when we're doing this. And that obviously keeps up around time, but we get home and I can't remember if I opened the door or if I opened it, but whenever we went inside, James was up in the kitchen area, but he walked up like 4 or 5 steps. Just like, there's the front room, and then he go up into the kitchen. And he was like up there, and he started screaming, saying, get the, you know, like stuff like, I can't really quote for it, but like stuff like, get the fuck out of my house, or something about off my property, and I'm tired of your shit, Michael, and other stuff, which he's done this before, you know, like screaming and stuff, and he had a gun in his hand. He's done this before, so I didn't think nothing of it.
What type of gun did he have? Can you describe it?
It was a long gun, and it had just, I don't know what kind of gun it was, but I just know it was like a rifle looking thing, and it had designs kind of etched into the wood.
Okay.
That's all I really know. Because like he showed it to us before, so I don't really know what's going on.
Okay, that's fine. You're not a gun person. Okay. But you know it was a long gun. Do you know the difference between a rifle and a shotgun? Okay, go ahead. So you had this gun in his hand. And what happened after that, Melody?
Well, I had pee real bad, so you have to go up the stairs to the left to get to the bathroom, and he was like right there. And I like got by him because he was screaming at Dad, so he wasn't really paying me much mind. And I was gonna go past him to use the restroom. But then I was like, well, it's getting kind of serious, so I turned back around before I got to the restroom, and that's when he turned to me and grabbed me on the forearm. That,
Your right forearm?
yeah.
Okay.
Like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, like this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And,
But you just grabbed your forearm, right?
yeah, and when I did that, his hand came off.
Okay, yeah, you did that.
And then his hand went to my neck, and that's when I was like, you know, was freaking out, and he was saying something. He said, where do you think you're going? That was before he grabbed my neck. It was me on the forearm. So where do you think you're going? I was like, I'm going with Dad. He said, we're first to leave, right? He's like, you're not going anywhere. I'm like, well, I'm going to always drive Dad around, you know, because I have license and stuff. But anyway, and he said I wasn't going anywhere. And I heard Dad go down the steps. And James looked in the direction Dad was at. I didn't see Dad, but it was Dad because I heard him come back up the steps.
That's on what?
Dad shot me in the eye. I think it was the right one. Yeah.
What was James doing when your dad shot him?
He had took one step back from me and looked to where Dad was standing. But there's a shelf and I couldn't see Dad. But he could see Dad. And
So he let go of you and took a step back? You said at one point he grabbed your neck, right?
Mm.
And
But he heard that come back up, like that was right up the steps straight, so he could hear it.
Mhm.
He took one step back and looked over. And like I felt the bullet. I mean, I didn't feel it going in, but like I felt the wind off of it, kind of.
Okay.
Because that's how close he was. And then he kind of like just stood there for a minute. I was shocked. And then he stumbled back and slid down to the floor against the refrigerator. And he was still moving. And Dad ran up. He turned off the lights. I remember he turned off the lights.
Your dad turned off the lights.
Yeah.
Okay. What was James saying? Was he saying anything after he got shot? Did your dad say anything before he came up and shot James in the eye? Were you saying anything? As he's, grabbed you and said, "Where are you going? Where do you think you're going?"
I said, with my dad. And I was like, with Dad. And he said, no, you're not going anywhere. Or something along those lines.
Right.
So you turned the lights off before or after he shot?
After.
After. You said the eye. How do you know the eye? Did you actually see the impact at that point?
After he got shot, I seen him get shot.
So you actually saw him get shot in the eye? You said it was right eye?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He didn't have a t-shirt on. He had jean shorts on.
Who had jeans shorts on?
James.
Do you know what day that was?
I'm not 100%, but I thought it was the 5th or something like that. I mean, I told you guys it was the 5th, but I'm not 100 about it. What?
So, okay. When did you go to the neighbors?
It was earlier that day. I read that in the statement. I needed gas to go to the gas station to get gas to go to Kenny's to get more stuff. But then, this was before he got shot. And I just want to clarify, like, that blood stain they saw was not a blood stain. It's a yellow spot from where I threw it down, and it had been left for like a while. It just had a stain on it. I just want to, that wasn't blood. I just want to clarify that.
That stain is from what?
I don't know. It was a yellow stain, like a dark yellow stain. I don't know what it was from.
Okay, so that's something you had dropped earlier. I thought you said you had dropped. Did you make the stain?
No, I had left it. I'm very clumsy, not clumsy. I'm very not organized. So like when I take clothes off, I just throw it on the floor.
Right.
And then I threw it on the floor in the basement. And then it was like weeks later when I went to go, wash it, and the stain wasn't coming out. So I still wore it because I didn't really have anything else to wear. So. And then I walked over there to ask for gas to go to Kenny's house to get more shit. But they didn't have any, so I walked over to Dad's and tried to siphon gas out of the cars. I don't remember how we got to Kenny's that day though. But I know we did because we came back and from Kenny's. So everything happened.
Who is King?
Kenny and Ryan.
Mm-hmm. How do you know him?
He's his dad's friend. Like, you're not gonna go give him drug charges or anything, right?
That's not our intention, no.
Okay. Well, he's this person that I got met from. He would usually give it to me and Dad for free, but
Mhm.
because I worked for him and I just had his daughter, so.
All right, so James gets shot. He's sliding down. He's got a shot to the eye. What happens then? What happens next?
Dad turns off the lights and he comes over and I can't remember in what order it was, but he was asking me if I was alright or okay, and I didn't answer, and then James was on the floor like, twitching. And so I had a gun in his hand and I was screaming at Dad to get the gun away. So Dad, get the fucking gun, and
James still had a gun in his hand. Or your dad, or both.
I think Dad still had his too. And he said, no, Melody, he's dead. And I was like, I don't fucking care. Get the gun away from him. Like, he could pop up in a minute and shoot me or whatever. And Dad said, no, Melody, his fucking brains are going out. But he still kicked it away because I wanted to stop yelling until he got the gun away.
Okay, then what else?
And then he said, go downstairs. And I went because I was still like looking at him because he was like pulling a lot of blood out of his own mouth. I don't know what blood was pulling out of him. So Dad grabbed me by the arm and kind of like dragged me downstairs and sat me on the bed. And I lay down and he turned off the lights and said, go to bed, I'll take care of it.
Okay, and what did you do?
I think I passed out because that's all I remember. And I woke up like the evening the next day and Keith was there. And he said, I helped your dad reorganize the kitchen. And I'm like, what? Like, I know Dad won't tell Keith stuff because he's, I don't know.
Who was Keith?
Well, I don't know his last name, but he was a buddy of James and Dad's. But I'm assuming that Dad had already cleaned up everything before Dad let him help him with the kitchen, but that's just assuming, I don't know.
Okay. And then what happened?
They showed me the kitchen, how they reorganized it, and then we went outside because they were working on Keith's car, which I don't understand because Dad said that they were working on it all night, and I was like, well, we didn't get home till 4 a.m. So they might have meant all day because I didn't wake up till 7 p.m.
Okay, my question is, you get home and James is kind of being weird and, grabs you by the arm and you see him get his brains blown out and you go downstairs and go to sleep.
It sounds bad, I know it sounds bad, but if you take into consideration that I was up for like 72 hours and like now I just seen this guy's brains get blown out and like they go on to me and then I'm just like in shock and then I just like and then I just pass out. It's not like I went to sleep, it's like it was like
So you wake up, at what point do you say, Dad, what did you do with James's body? When do you say that?
I didn't really ask him. When we were alone, like, because he didn't say anything, but he said he took care of it, and he burned the body because I went outside, and one day it was like Because he did it multiple days. He didn't just burn his body one day. I think he did it for like almost a week. And I was outside cleaning out one of the cars, and he was over there sitting down by the burn pile, and it was lit up.
What did you think he burned James's body over the course of a week? Did he tell you?
The names James Whitaker and Michael Dixon are mentioned repeatedly, but emotional attachment and fear stand out more than factual clarity. This pattern is commonly observed in individuals who have lived under power imbalance and dependency-based relationships.
This? Or did you just see fire in a pit over the course of a week? What made you think that
It's
was...
like he told me, and then I went outside after doing a line.
You went outside after what?
After doing a line, and I was going to tell him that there was some stuff on the kitchen table for him, and he had gloves on. He had a jawbone and stuff in his hand, and just showed it to me. So I just went back inside because I didn't want to see it. He told me he was going to. He told me afterwards he smashed it with a hammer. Because he said that they won't be able to identify him.
You say he was holding the jawbone with the gloves?
Well, I don't know if it was a jawbone, but they're just pieces of bones.
What did it look like?
There's like one like. I mean, it looked like a jawbone.
Yeah.
But I didn't see no teeth.
Something that would look like a jawbone to you, but you didn't see the teeth. Did he say anything about it, or did he just show it to you? Did he say, look, this is James's face, his jaw, his anything?
He told me he was going to smash up the jawbone and the teeth so they wouldn't recognize him. And I said, okay. And I turned right back around and I went inside. And I told him that there's, I am waiting for him.
What was lying in there waiting on him?
Meth.
Where were you at when you saw your dad with the jawbone? Or with the bone you thought was a jawbone?
On the front porch. Like I just walked out and was on the edge of the front porch when he walked up.
So like the end of the sidewalk,
And
the
I'm
little
like,
walkway.
the wooden part, I wasn't even off that yet.
So you were still on the front porch. And he was towards the roadway, right? Towards like the garage.
No, by the time I walked out, he was like a couple feet from the porch. And he was floating kind of like this, walking. He had gloves on.
Where you got?
My dad?
Yes.
I just told him about running back inside. I don't want to watch that stuff.
Did you tell which direction he went to or was going to?
I think he was going to do it on the porch because that's the direction he was walking when I came out.
Did you ever see it again?
No.
You know what he did with it?
Well, he told me he smashed them up.
What would he do with them after he smashed them up?
I don't know. And he was trying to say that Grandpa gave him this idea. And I'm just like, Grandpa would never do that. He's not the type of person. He is a good person. And he's not a violent person at all. I don't understand why you guys are putting him in it. Do you guys want to tell me why it is?
You don't have to.
Okay.
I think Grandpa would lie about it. That's why. That's all it was.
So, this is the next day where you see the jawbone, right?
I don't think so. It was like a week later
Oh, okay.
because it would, I would imagine it takes a long while to get a body down to that point.
Alright. So what else happened between that time? Between, after you wake up and Kenny is there, Keith is there, and, do you see fires that your dad is burning over the course of the week in that burn pit?
Yeah.
How many fires did you see over that time period? Was it daily?
Yeah. So, but like, when you like start a fire, it usually stays lit for a long time.
All right. What else happened, Melody?
After that, it was pretty much just all that happened, or all I knew or seen, because he came in, he didn't have no gloves on or anything, and there was no more fires after that, so.
At some point in time, you knew that the police were looking for you, right? Did you ever find that out?
On the 27th, when the daughters came and the mom and told us that we had to get out and we couldn't stay there no more until James was found. And that's when they told us to leave, and then after we got a couple of things, they said, no, wait for the cops to show up, and of course we didn't wait. And we drove.
Exactly who told you to wait?
I think it was Jennifer.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm not 100%, but she was one of the daughters and she was the bigger one, so I think it was Jennifer.
The day before that, when the deputy showed up at your house, remember that?
About shooting it down.
You recall that? Why did she tell them that day about Jimmy, what happened? Because I think they even asked about the homeowner.
No, he didn't.
Did they ask about who house it was, something along that line?
I don't recall that. Well, the night that it happened, I told Dad, should we call the cops or police or whatever, and he said, no, just system's fucked up, I'd go to jail anyway. And that's when he was still lying there. But, I agreed with him because this system is kind of fucked up in a way, sometimes. It's like nothing against you guys, it's just a lot of things happen.
So you suggested that Michael called the police and he didn't want to because the justice system is fucked up, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Do you think if you did call the police, 911, EMS, you think Jimmy could have been saved?
No.
So why is that?
Just looking at him, I just don't think that it would have been possible. Good. None of them would. You get me shot in the head, not many people survive from that. A lot of it came out in the seconds, and it was just like, I don't think it would have.
Why you had opportunities to call the police, right? And you didn't?
Like, if you think about it like this, like, what if it was you and your dad shot somebody because someone else had a gun to your head? You're going to go to the cop and be like, oh, my dad was protecting me and he killed this person. And I felt like that would be messed up on my end because he, like, was just protecting me. And I mean, the only reason you guys are looking at it different, I feel, is because of the relationship, if you want to call it that, between me and Dad. And if it was any other way, you would have thought this is a parent protecting their child.
You had said that James had done this often now, right?
Yeah, but he never grabbed me. He would always, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Michael, and do you a favor. I mean, he always had that long gun. He said he always had it loaded he said he felt like people were trying to kill him throughout the night. But I think it was just a meth talking, but.
In the end, this interrogation leaves a critical question behind. Are Melody Dixon's statements entirely truthful? Or are they shaped by a mental state where justification and reality have blurred together? In cases like this, answers aren't found in words alone, but in psychological behavior,